Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining me today because we are diving into a massive fundamental shift in how the world actually operates. We're going to explore how the explosive rise of the on-demand economy is completely rewriting the rules of our physical urban infrastructure. If you've ever wondered how the simple convenience of ordering food on your phone is now dictating city planning and high-voltage electricity, well, you are absolutely in the right place. Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to take a structured look at this trend today. First, the on-demand economy boom. Second, the EV infrastructure crisis. Third, power on demand, mobile charging. And finally, regulating the mobile future. All right, part one, the on-demand economy boom. To really grasp where our physical infrastructure is heading, we first have to look at our own changing consumer expectations. The digital world has completely trained us to expect things right now, right? The global on-demand delivery market is sitting at around $342 billion as of 2025. But get this, it is projected to absolutely skyrocket to $1.12 trillion by 2034. That's a compound annual growth rate of 14.1%. We're not talking about a niche convenience anymore. This is a total economic juggernaut. Now, what's really fascinating is how that trillion-dollar pie is actually sliced up. Food delivery is still the reigning king at 38.4%. But look at what's creeping up right behind it. Grocery delivery is at 22.7%, and healthcare is sitting at 8.6%, and they are expanding incredibly fast. People aren't just getting late-night pizzas delivered anymore. They are getting their weekly groceries and literal life-saving prescriptions rushed straight to their doorsteps. So what's pouring gas on this fire? It isn't just about flashy apps. We are talking about a massive AI-powered behavioral shift. By 2026, we're looking at 6.9 billion global smartphones acting as the remote controls for our lives. And an entire generation, specifically millennials and Gen Z, who make up 55% of the user base, now completely expects instant frictionless fulfillment. Behind the scenes, AI routing and ultra-local dark stores, which are basically neighborhood fulfillment centers closed to the public, are making 10 to 15-minute delivery windows a total everyday reality. But here is the million-dollar question. It's one thing to algorithmically route a driver to drop off a sandwich in 15 minutes. But what happens when this high-speed, instant gratification digital economy violently crashes into the heavy, painfully slow reality of physical urban infrastructure? Which brings us to Section 2, the EV infrastructure crisis. There is no better place to see this crash happening in real time than South Florida. A recent CBS News investigation highlighted that it's basically the Hunger Games out there for Miami EV drivers right now. Electric vehicle registrations in the Miami area jumped by a massive 68% year over year. But public charging station installations, they only increased by a measly 12%. So Miami EV drivers aren't just dealing with an annoyance. They're facing a true daily crisis when hunting for power. It's literally a gamble whether you'll find a working charger when you desperately need one. And this brilliantly illustrates why traditional, fixed infrastructure just cannot scale fast enough to meet exploding EV adoption. In South Florida, building approvals can drag on for 6 to 18 months. Then you have strict hurricane codes that pump up installation costs by 30 to 40%. Local grids are already operating near peak capacity, which means multi-million-dollar substation upgrades are required just to support fast chargers. And if you live in a condo, retrofitting that building can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $200,000. The math of fixed infrastructure simply doesn't work for the speed of modern demand. To put a human face on these statistics, let's look at a Winewood small business owner featured in that CBS News report. He felt the very real, very intense panic of finding his delivery van practically dead while every public charger nearby was either blocked or broken. He said, "Mobile charging kept my business running without missing deliveries. Range anxiety doesn't just ruin your morning commute. It literally stalls local commerce." Which perfectly tees up Section 3, Power on Demand, Mobile Charging. Here is where it gets incredibly exciting. We are now seeing the exact same gig economy playbook that brings us 15-minute groceries applied to high-voltage electricity. Services like B-Charged EV are completely inverting the traditional infrastructure model. Instead of forcing cars to desperately hunt for power, they bring the power directly to the car. You just tap an app or call to request a charge. A mobile charging unit arrives, usually in under 30 minutes. They provide direct DC fast charging, meaning high-speed, heavy-duty power straight to your vehicle's bumper. Once it's done, you just leave. No waiting in line, no fighting over broken public ports. So the crucial point is how they make this economically viable and transparent for the driver. Be-charged EV uses a flat session fee of $165. Now, if you've ever used public charging networks, you know they love to bury you in hidden fees. You get hit with idle fees if you don't sprint to move your car immediately, plus unpredictable peak hour pricing that can easily push a public charge over $50 anyway. Having a flat, completely predictable fee for on-demand power fundamentally changes the game for drivers who value their time. When you zoom out, it's pretty clear why mobile charging is shifting from just a roadside emergency service to a primary, highly viable infrastructure alternative. First off, it entirely bypasses those multi-year utility and permitting bottlenecks. It also democratizes access. Fixed chargers often completely ignore working-class neighborhoods, but mobile chargers can go anywhere. It's an absolute lifeline for commercial fleets whose drivers cannot afford to sit around waiting at public stations. And with predictable membership models, it just entirely eliminates range anxiety. All right, let's move into our final section, regulating the mobile future. Now, you know how it goes. Whenever a disruptive on-demand service takes off, regulators are usually left scrambling to play catch-up. Let's shift gears and look at Singapore to see how global governments are actually formalizing this innovative mobile power model. They're taking a highly proactive approach. The Land Transport Authority and Enterprise Singapore have both recognized that on-demand charging isn't just a quirky workaround. It is a permanent, crucial part of the future urban ecosystem. To manage this, they've introduced the SS722 standard. This is a newly elevated national standard, basically upgrading their old guidelines, that lays out strict engineering and safety specs for all these emerging EV charging systems. Because let's be real, when you have massive, high-voltage batteries on wheels rolling through crowded city streets to charge other vehicles, rigorous safety protocols are an absolute non-negotiable necessity. And if you look at what is specifically expanded inside SS722, it's pretty wild. It explicitly covers mobile EV charging systems, like those heavy chargers mounted right onto vans or trucks. It introduces safety guidelines for wireless power transfer pads. It mandates intense cybersecurity protocols so these mobile charging networks can't be hacked. It even maps out the rules for battery swapping in heavy cargo trucks. This standard is solid proof that decentralized mobile power is officially crossing over into heavily regulated mainstream infrastructure. And they're giving the industry a really pragmatic runway to adapt to all this. The standard officially takes effect on April 1, 2026. However, existing approved chargers have a 2.5-year grace period for transition and adjustment. So by October 2028, compliance with these rigorous new mobile and stationary standards becomes strictly mandatory. It's just a highly structured, smart way to safely weave bleeding-edge technology into a massive, bustling metropolis. So here is the takeaway I really want to leave you with today. We've seen how our expectation of app-based delivery evolved from bringing us a hot pizza to using that exact same logic to dispatch commercial vans full of high-voltage electricity to rescue our cars. The physical infrastructure of our cities is literally being decoupled from the ground and put on wheels. If the on-demand economy can seamlessly deliver a direct, high-voltage charge straight to your bumper in under 30 minutes, what other massive pieces of rigid physical infrastructure are about to go completely mobile? Honestly, think about that the next time you tap your phone to order something. Thanks so much for learning with me today on The Explainer.